know what that is? That's all the nickels I've collected over the years from people every time somebody asked me about getting the fastest cloth. Oh, wait. And those are the nickels I've changed into quarters for the very same reason. You know, choosing a cloth for your table is not an easy thing to do, nor should it be. And just taking Joe Blow's word for it and that you want the fastest cloth, or you've gone out to a pool hall and you've played on some really fast cloth and you say, wow, look at all the English I can get off of my ball. Look at what I can make the ball do with this fast cloth. That's great, man. But can you control it? You know, it's very rare that I would put somebody into 760 Simonis. Not that I dislike the cloth. I really do like the cloth in the right application for the right person. Or how good of a pool player are you, number one? Have you developed your ball control already using, lesser materials? Here's the thing. My dad, when I first started playing pool, I was probably 14 or 15 years old, and I used to go to this little pool hall with my dad, and, back then, kids could get into pool halls with no problem, as long as we didn't drink. And I went around and I started looking for the straightest pool stick I could find. This is after I had been playing a few months. I start going around and I'm looking for the straightest pool cue I can find. And my dad walks up to me and he says, son, if you can't play with any stick, then you can't play with any stick. So what he was trying to get across to me is that, if you really want to get good at the game, develop the fundamentals first and get really, really good at ball control, get really good at speed and everything like that, using the equipment that you've already got at hand. Do you really think that Mario Andretti just jumped into a Formula One race car the very first time he went to drive? No. Or do you think his dad taught him how to drive first, using something, with a hell of a lot less power? There are professional pool players out there that would benefit from an extremely fast cloth, but there reaches a point where you don't really want to go any faster. And has 760 Simonis gone beyond? Is it beyond that point where it's no longer a useful cloth? I don't think it is. I think it still has its purpose. I think it would serve well on a 9-foot table playing 8-ball. I think it would serve well as a cloth for a 10-foot snooker table, or maybe carom tables, but carom is completely different subject, and the cloths that they use for carom tables, I've seen it as thin as silk, and I would no way recommend putting that on a pool table. Your geometry changes up. Let's say you shoot a shot with the exact same amount of speed. Exact same force, exact same speed. So in other words, well, let's look at it like this. If you were to drop a ball off of a ramp at a given height over a given distance, and it's traveling from the head rail to the foot rail and then bouncing off and coming back. Okay. You set up that ramp on a 9-foot table and you let the ball go. On 760, let's say 760 Simonis. Well, it doesn't matter what cloth you choose, as long as you've got the same cloth on a 9-foot table, an 8-foot table, and a 7-foot table. The distance that ball is going to travel is going to remain the same over all 3 tables. However, its relative position to the ball or to the pockets is going to change. Why? Because there's less distance between pockets. You're traveling the same amount of distance. Let's say the ball's traveling 12 feet. Okay? Well, 12 feet on a 9-foot table is going to be 9 in this direction, 3 back this way. Okay? On an 8-foot table, 12 feet, 8 feet this way, 4 feet back this way. 3.5 by 7. 7 feet this way, 5 feet this way. Okay? Now you've gone from, on a 9-foot table, less than your rebound shot, or the rebound off the rail, is less than half the distance of the table. But on a 7-foot table, that rebound is more than half the distance of the table. You get what I'm saying? The geometry of the shots is going to change. The objective should be to have consistency within the game. That's why a lot of the manufacturers of pockets and pool tables have gone to industry standards. When was the last time you saw an industry standard golf course? There aren't any. You know, there are water traps, there are sand hazards, there are, or sand traps and water hazards. I don't play golf, but I know that they're there. You've got different lengths of grass, you've got woods, you've got heavy rough, you've got whatever. We don't have that, or at least we shouldn't have that with pool tables. And I think the objective should be to try to get as consistent of a game as possible, within reason, across tables. Playing on a 7-foot table, if you're playing on a 7-foot table, you should be able to judge your distance and speed and force and everything to be able to get the ball control for your ball to land where you want it afterwards, without changing up. You should be able to do the same thing with a 7-foot table as what you would with a 9-foot table without having to adjust yourself. And that means on a smaller table, adjust your cloth by going with a little bit slower cloth. On a larger table, maybe a little bit faster cloth. And for, 8 and 8-foot oversized tables, well, adjust it out. Again, I mean, there are middle ground options. So what are those options? Let's take a look. All right, so I've just pulled up Simonis' website, their US website, which is simoniscloth.com. There we go. Okay, colors and styles. Their US site, I would assume, is fairly similar. Let's go to Simonis 760. This is simoniscloth.com. We've gone to colors and styles and clicked on the very first one, which is 760. All right. I'm going to read this directly off the screen, and I will pop it up right here. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and pop it up for you guys so you can read along with me. All right. Simonis 760, the original worsted blend. Simonis 760, the original worsted blend. Combined worsted wool and high thread count assure long-lasting wear. Nap-free, will not pill, pluff, or shed. Available in 66-inch and 78-inch widths. Higher speed play for bank pool, straight pool, and one pocket. Well, that kind of goes into what I was saying before about tailoring the cloth to your game. Let's see. Available in 15 colors: green, black, Simonis green, black, blue-green, burgundy, camel, dark green, electric blue, gold, gray, marine blue, purple, red, spruce, tournament blue, and wine. Simonis is the only textile in the world dedicated to producing cloth for Q Sports, and all Simonis pool and carom cloths are worsted wool construction, making them very strong and very durable while maintaining the best possible playing surface. Why worsted construction for pool? Decades ago, worsted cloth was found to be a superior playing surface for pool and carom. The smooth, flat surface of Simonis worsted cloths do not shed, which means release random short fibers from the weave, or pill the bunching of the short fibers on the playing surface. Shedding and pulling can also lead to grooves or tracks forming in the cloth, negatively impacting play because the roll of the ball is affected by these problems. Most of the world has changed to worsted cloth for the superior characteristics of accuracy, consistency, and durability, but substandard woolen or felts are still commonly available in the U.S. market, usually as the basic cloth that comes with the table. So be sure to ask for Simonis cloth. A small investment now will bring years of better play, longer life, and increased enjoyment. And then they go into give you the little link down below for keeping your cloth playing better for longer. Okay. So that's what they say about 760. Now, to Simonis' credit, they did say that this is a higher speed play for bank pool. Now, what is bank pool? That sounds to me like billiards, carom, okay, straight pool, and one pocket. Okay, let's go over to, well, one thing that was conspicuously missing on here is size of tables. And if I don't like the language of bank pool that they use. Not everyone is going to realize that bank pool means carom or billiards. Three balls, no pockets. Okay. Straight pool in one pocket. Okay. So let's go back over to, now let's go to the 760 SR, which I've actually never heard of. Okay. Simonis 760 SR. Okay, stain resistant worsted blend. Combined worsted wool and high thread count assure long lasting wear. Nap free, will not pill, fluff, or shed. Available exclusively through authorized Olhausen dealers in the US and Canada. Available in 12 colors: Simonis green, black, burgundy, camel, dark green, gold, gray, red, royal blue, spruce, tournament blue, and wine. Olhausen dealers. What have you been waiting for? A petrochemically treated, stain-resistant Simonis cloth. While Simonis is naturally resistant to spills and stains due to its tight weave and high thread count, this product seals the deal with stain treatment built in during the manufacturing process and is not sprayed on later. Okay. That is obviously a slight dig at Championship. Again, now, if we were to apply what Simonis said about their 760 cloth, it's going to be good for bank billiards or carom and billiards itself, one pocket and straight pool. But this is just their stain-resistant version. Again, not mentioning on here what size tables they would typically recommend the cloth for. So let's go over to their 860. All right, initially developed for 9-ball. I like this. This is good. Slightly slower than the 760 blend. Combined worsted wool, high thread count, and higher wool content assure long-lasting wear and reduced ball burning. Nap-free, will not pill, fluff, or shed. Available in 66 and 78-inch widths. Available colors, which they do have a pretty decent selection. Simonis green, black, blue-green, burgundy, burnt orange, camel, chartreuse. Ooh, chartreuse. Dusty pink, dark green, electric blue, English green, espresso, fuchsia, gold, gray, marine blue, mocha, olive, orange, petroleum blue, okay, powder blue, purple, red, royal blue, slate gray, spruce, tournament blue, and wine. Not all colors are available in 66 and 78-inch rolls. 860 info sheet, so they give you an 860 info sheet on it. And they go back into, just like with the 760 Simonis, they go back into their deal about why worsted cloth is better than everything else. Okay. So let's go to, and again, now, let's talk about the 860 for a minute. They did say that this was initially developed for 9-ball. 9-ball is typically played on 8 and 9-foot tables. Tournament 9-ball is always going to be played on a 9-foot table. Probably 8-ball as well. It's been a while since I've checked, but anyway, for 8-ball and 9-ball, I would almost always recommend somebody get 860 Simonis if they're dead set on the Simonis brand. That's just what I would do. As a player, I think that the additional control that it gives you, it does give you more speed than Championship Invitational cloth, which we'll get into in a minute. It does give you more speed than Championship Invitational cloth. It is somewhere in between the... actually, it's going to play pretty close to the Tour Edition 3030. So, and the Championship 3020 ProAm is going to play somewhere in between 760 Simonis and 860 Simonis. You know, that's really the 3 or 4 basic cloths that Simonis offers. Now, let's go over to Championship. And I will say that Championship does have quite a few. Let me turn you a little bit more and move this so I can actually see my screen. Championship does actually offer quite a few more choices in cloth. And I think that's actually a really, really good thing. So let's go over to Championship's website, and that would be champbilliards.com. CHAMP, billiards.com. And we are going to go over to fabrics. And this will give you the full rundown, and I will actually put this up on the page so that you can read this along with me. Championship offers premium performance billiard fabrics at surprisingly affordable prices. We offer a complete line of worsted, woolen, and specialty fabrics in over 29 decorative colors. Championship fabrics stand up to hard commercial use, yet satisfy the most discriminating professional and amateur players. Why are Championship fabrics the leading choice of commercial coin-op, home, and OEM markets? Championship sets the pace for major innovations in billiard fabrics. Our staff's 342 years of total experience, now that's combined between all of their employees. Let's not kid ourselves. Championship has not been in business anywhere near as long as Simonis. But longevity in a business does not necessarily make you the best in the business. I'm not picking a side here, okay? I'm not. But I do want to call out marketing blitz when I see it. So, all right. Our staff's 342 years of total experience with the game, the industry, and its organizations makes a difference. Highlights of Championship value. Complete selection of worsted and woolen fabrics in both bolts and pre-cut beds and rails. 2 pieces of matching silver cup chalk with every pre-cut. Spots included with all fabric products. No hidden defects. Backed and unbacked fabrics. Playing surface identified. Measuring tape included in bolts. No seams in backing. Soft fold with bed cuts and rails. And it comes in 66-inch widths. Okay. Now, I'll scroll down and you guys can look at the chart that Championship puts on here. And again, I really do wish that they would either give a second chart. I wish that Simonis would also give a chart as to which cloth they recommend for a given size table in a given game. At least kind of give you some direction. So let's look at this chart. It says Championship, a fabric for every use. And then they, on the horizontal axis, they give Tour Edition, ProAm, Valley Teflon Ultra, Mercury Ultra, Saturn II with Teflon, Invitational with Teflon, Invitational, Titan, and Titan Brights. On the vertical axis, we've got, going from top down, tournament, home, commercial, coin-operated, performance, economical, hybrid, Teflon repellency, Teflon stain resistance, backed, pre-cut, and 6-packs. I guess if you've got a barroom or something like that you need a pack of 6 pre-cut cloths, you can buy the Valley Teflon Ultra and the Mercury Ultra, which are both decent cloths. So they recommend the Tour Edition for tournament use, for home use, for commercial use, for coin operated, and for performance. And it also comes in pre-cuts. That's great. I've actually ordered their pre-cuts before, and it's fine. And this is for they offer pre-cuts for all of their cloth, which is something. I'm sorry, Simonis, if you're watching this. I really do wish that you guys would pre-cut your rails. Okay, it does make it go a lot better, a lot smoother install when you've got pre-cut rails. All right, the ProAm is identical. Their recommendations for the ProAm are identical to the Tour Edition. The Valley Teflon Ultra has a few more, and the Valley Teflon Ultra is a little bit less expensive than both the Tour Edition and the ProAm. They recommend it for tournament, home, commercial, coin-operated, performance. It is not necessarily the most economical cloth, but it is a hybrid cloth, which means that it is, from what I understand about their process, it's made more similar to their Invitational or the Invitational with Teflon, and then it has the nap cut off of the playing surface. I have done tables before in the Valley Teflon Ultra. It is pretty good cloth. They do offer it in with the Teflon, obviously, and they offer it in backed. Everything they offer, all of their cloths with the exception of the Tour Edition, ProAm, and Titan Brights in backed cloth. Now, if you're a novice and you don't know if not a novice, but if you don't know what backed cloth is, all right, let me see. Give me 1 second. I'll walk right over here and grab a cut of cloth. So, this is how you would receive your cloth. It would be bundled up in a bag. Now, I've already used the rail material out of this cut. When they say that it comes with 2 pieces of chalk, yes, it does. It comes with 2 pieces of chalk and your matching or your spots. And another cool thing that Championship does is that on certain cloths, they will actually give you color-coded or color-matching spots. So they're not always black like this. I've seen them in green. I've seen them in blue as well. Haven't seen red spots yet, but I'm sure they'll come eventually. All right, they give you matching chalk. This happens to be navy blue, and they give navy blue chalk, which is cool. All right. So, backing on cloth. Now, this is standard unbacked cloth. The front is identical to the back. Oh, let's not hit the microphone. The front and back are, well, they're not quite identical. There is a top side and a bottom side to this. With backed cloth, on the back side of the cloth, you would actually have a secondary piece of fabric, usually white fabric, that would be glued to the back side of the cloth. Okay, so you would have your top side that would be finished out real nice and pretty with the cloth, and then on the back side of it would be a white an additional white piece of cloth that would be adhered to the entire back of the cloth. The rail material is not backed. Now, what's the advantage in having backed cloth? Well, in commercial settings like bars and pool halls, backed cloth, having that backing on their cloth, can and does extend the lifespan of the cloth. So let's say if I were to use unbacked cloth in a commercial setting, say a coin-operated pool hall in a bar, the cloth might last, with moderate use, it might last between 6 months and a year. Once you add backing onto it, it will extend the life to between, I'm going to say 9 months and a year and a half. Now, that may not seem like an awful lot. Well, it is when you consider how often the cloth gets replaced on commercial type tables, and that's pool halls and bar rooms. They do get their cloth replaced much more often. So, adding a backing onto the cloth does extend the lifespan. Do I recommend it for home use? No. I never, ever, 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 ever recommend back cloth for home use. Why? Well, if it extends the life in a bar room and a pool hall, why wouldn't it extend the life in a home setting? Well, it's pretty simple. The glue that is used to hold on the backing usually fails before people end up getting the cloth replaced. So the glue on the backing, the glue that holds the backing on, typically will start to fail after about 5 years or so. And again, depending on how those environmental factors, like does it get a lot of sunlight, is it very dry environment, is it a very moist environment, a lot of humidity, all of those things, temperature swings back and forth, those wreak havoc on glue. So adding that additional backing onto there, usually the glue that holds the backing on fails long before the cloth itself has reached its life expectancy. In a normal home environment, you can expect to get with, and this is actually the Invitational. This cloth is actually the Invitational with Teflon. And, with moderate use, I would say that you're going to get somewhere around 5 years out of it, 5 to 7 years out of it, with average home type use. In other words, you're going to play on it maybe anywhere between 2 and 4 times a month. Okay, maybe a couple of hours every time you play, 2 to 4 times a month. You're going to get about 7 years out of this cloth on average. If you were to use backed material in that same environment, that cloth, the backing, the glue holding the backing on, is probably going to start failing at somewhere between 3 and 5 years, and you've just killed the lifespan of the cloth. So, I never recommend backed material. Like I said, in a bar room situation, that's completely different. Now, a lot of bar rooms have opted that they don't want backed material. And why? They got a lot of league players that play on their tables. And backed material, well, it slows down the roll of the ball. Everybody wants fast cloth, remember. And, fast to a degree is a good thing. But, slowing it down way too much where you feel like you're playing in quicksand, that's not a good thing. So what the manufacturers have done, what Championship has done, is they've introduced the Valley Teflon Ultra, which I do know is used on the Valley and Dynamo coin-operated tables from the factory, and they also offer the ProAm and Tour Edition. All 3 of these are fantastic cloths to use in a commercial environment. You can also use them in a home environment. There's nothing that says you can't use a commercial grade table in your home. It's actually, if you're a really good pool player, that's what I would recommend. I'll give you a story here. I had a customer a while back that Yo, brother, fucking up a perfectly good video here. What's he sending me? Oh yeah, tits and ass. All right, so I'll give you a story here. About a year or so ago, I had a customer that called me up and said, I want to get my table moved and I want to get it recovered. So as we were talking, we figured he was really keen on making sure that the price was right on getting the service work done. And typically, I'm not if you're shopping price, typically I'm not going to be the guy you want to go to. Not that I'm terribly expensive, but there are guys out there that are willing to whore themselves out for beer. Okay, they do, and as you would expect for somebody that's willing to whore themselves out for beer, they do a level of work that's commensurate with beer. Not that there's anything wrong with beer. I like beer every once in a while. I'm just not going to work for beer as payment. All right. So anyway, price was an issue, and I had quoted the guy, I think $400 to recover his table while we were moving it and everything. And we got all done with it. Table looked beautiful. Everything was perfectly level. I use a machinist level, so, I keep it calibrated. And everything came out absolutely perfect on this table. Well, we had used the Championship Invitational with Teflon cloth. And, for the average homeowner, that's a fantastic cloth. It'll last them a good long while. They'll get lots of service out of it, and it will work just fine for 95% of everybody that owns a pool table in their home. But he called me up, I guess about a week after we got done with the table, and he says, "Man, this cloth just plays so slow. What kind of cloth did you use on it?" And I told him, I said, "Well, I used the industry standard of cloth, the Championship Championship Invitational with Teflon." "Oh man, this is just so slow. Is there any way we can go back with, do you warranty it?" And I'm like, if I installed it wrong, I would warranty it, but it was installed perfectly. You were okay with what with what was quoted. And upon talking with him more and more, figured out that, this guy's actually an APA player, and he's a 7. He's a better pool player than I am. Now, I used to play APA, and I had made it up to, I made it up to a 7. I don't play anymore, so don't even think about challenging me to pool or anything. I won't play. But anyway, so this guy is a 7. This guy knows pool. He's really good. If you're a 7, you're really good, okay? You should know a few things about not only how to play pool, but you should know something about the equipment that you're playing on. And if you've managed to play pool for that long that you've gotten that good, the name Simonis, even if you've never heard of Championship, the name Simonis should pop into your head, right? It never even entered into the conversation. So basically what he was wanting me to do was go in and remove the cloth, the brand new cloth that we had just put on his table at my expense, and replace it with Simonis cloth, again, at my expense, because so if you're looking to get a table moved and or recovered, make sure that if you're a really good pool player, and make sure you relay that information to whoever is doing the work on your table, because then they can tailor the cloth to you and your needs. Now let's take this same customer. This was an 8-foot Olhausen table that we were installing. And had he talked to me and told me what kind of player he was, I would have directed him into either the Championship Tour Edition 3030, or I would have directed him to getting Simonis 860. I would not bump it all the way up to 760. Personally, I think 760 is a little bit fast for an 8-foot table when you're playing 8-ball, when you're playing, and 9-ball for that matter. If you're an exceptionally good player, I mean, like if you're, pro or semi-pro, or, really, really, really high 7, like you just don't get beat in APA, then maybe I would say, okay, go ahead and get 760 Simonis for an 8-foot table. I would never put somebody in 760 on a 7-foot table. Just wouldn't do it. I don't care what game you play. I wouldn't do it. I would put you in 760 on a 9-foot table if you're an 8-ball player. I would put you in 760 Simonis if you're a snooker player. But I wouldn't do it on an 8-foot table. Another thing too is I might put someone in 760, or I might put them into the Championship ProAm if the table is going to be in a garage. Again, unair-conditioned garage. The table's not going to, it's going to be living in, especially here in Louisiana. If it's going to be high humidity, I'm going to put them in something just a touch faster. Just a touch. But I'm not going to go up to 760 for everyone just because, or I'm going to at least try to talk them out of it. If, in conversations, I can tell they're not really at that level of playing pool, that they've already mastered ball control, speed, speed and force and ball control. Master those things first. And I don't want to get into videos where I'm teaching people how to play pool. That is not it at all. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't expect the cloth to overcome your shortcomings as a player. If you're a player, develop your skills as a player first. And then get to that level like Mario Andretti and his race car, baby steps and get there. And then, once you've reached that level where those little bitty differences matter, then go up to that Formula One. Going back to the Championship Invitational cloth, both with and without Teflon, their Titan cloth, the Titan Brights, everything but the Saturn. The Saturn is really their economical cloth. Let me see, which one do they say is for economical? Yeah, the Saturn and the straight up Invitational. The Invitational is good. I don't buy their Saturn. I never put people in that. That is probably the lowest grade of cloth that they offer. And, if I was going to put these different cloths into automotive terms, okay, the Saturn, their Saturn, that's going to be, for those 80s kids out there, that's going to be a Yugo. I'm sorry, it's a Yugo. Their Invitational and Invitational with Teflon, that's going to be the Honda Accord of cloths. It will get you where you got to go. It's going to be, it'll be fairly comfortable and reliable. It will reliably get you where you want to go. It will do what you ask it to do. But don't expect it to be, a high performance cloth. Just like don't expect a Honda to be a high performance car. It's just, out of the factory, it's not. And, there's no upgrades on this cloth. You can't turn Invitational, you can't turn these cloths into better cloths, okay? The Tour Edition and the Pro-Am, that's going to be your Formula One cars, man, and don't expect these lesser expensive cloths to perform like the high-end cloths are. But also, if you don't need a high-end cloth, don't opt for it, okay? You don't need to opt for it. If you're just a homeowner, don't take the upsell on the performance cloth when, you and your kids are going to be the ones playing on it, and none of y'all is Mike Massey here, okay? If you don't understand the Mike Massey reference, then go look him up. He's He's a pretty good player. I've had the opportunity to play him before. He's a good player. He beat me. Not by much, but he beat me. Anyway, I hope I've taught you something. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Y'all take care.